Welcome to ATI Pro Media. It is Tuesday. I almost said it's Monday, but we had President's Day off. Markets were closed and we open. But I've got good news. If you had that $5 March corn offer in at the elevator, we hit it briefly. We dip back below it right now, but hopefully we can cross it again. So good to see us breaking through that resistance, right? It'd be nice to close above there, but time will tell, right? We're live. We'll see where the day ends up at. Other news. We got to look at fund positioning, right? It looks like they kind of reduced their longs a little bit in the corn and soybean market. We'll talk about that. Russia and U.S. met to discuss the end to the war in Ukraine. I guess it's good to see the talks, but someone should let Ukraine know too, right? And then also let's go down to our neighbors in the south and look at their second corn crop planning second corn crop planting and soybean harvest. As always, drop a question we want to talk about, but what you want to hear. Brady, get in here, quote us up on the markets. You can't say $5 March corn. We were there right when we were prepping the show. We dipped back below it, but go ahead and quote us up and let's talk about it.
Yep, lost that 5 handle here on March corn. Look at the live shot here. Got to talk cold weather here as well, but had some checking for babies here this morning. It's a live shot here from 7 o'clock this morning. Went out and checked for babies, but we'll dive into your markets and then we'll talk cold weather here. So March corn up 2 cents here at 4.98. March beans up a penny at 10.37. Soy oils up quarter point at 4.46. Soy meal is up 70 points at 3.04. Looking over at your wheat market, Chicago wheat's down a penny and a quarter at 5.98 3/4 on the March contract. Looking over at KC wheat, March KC wheat 6.18 is giving back 3 cents here. Looking over at your July contract, down 3 cents as well, 6.39.5. Feeders, we got up in the front on March and April, up 87 points on the March, while your back months are leaking a little bit lower. Over in the fat cattle, we're down $1 on February fats, down 80 points on the June. Hog market's up. Got a bid here on the hog market, $1.37 higher, 93.97 on April hogs. Crude oil is up 72 points. Diesel is relatively unchanged, and nat gas is down a penny and a half. Looking over your equity markets, the Dow is down 126 points, the S&P down 2.5, the NASDAQ down 33, Bitcoin's down 2,000, 95,490 on your Bitcoin. Gold is 39 points higher. Worth noting, we don't always talk about gold, 39 points higher, and the dollar bouncing back 32 points higher. But there we go. No babies this morning, though, to report of Connor B, which is a good thing. Lots of cow-calf guys out there hoping that those cows aren't going to be in the mothering pen at any time over the next couple days, that they keep their legs crossed and those babies inside here next few days.
Yeah. Well, good stuff. Well, you need to tell your weather, I think, is the most extreme from this week to the next. I got it. It's cold in Kansas. It's cold in Illinois. The only ones that aren't feeling the cold is probably the snowbirds, right? If you got down south to Florida, you're feeling okay. The rest of the U.S. is cold. But tell everyone the change in week to week in Kansas.
Right. So, yeah, it's, negative temps here this morning, -2 here in Dodge City this morning, according to this graphic from Conduit Weather. But, we're supposed to see 64 by Sunday and 70 on Monday, Connor. What world do we live in here? This is wild swings.
The joys of being in the Midwest. We're not that extreme. I had to look it up. We get up to maybe the 50s next week is the high is that I saw.
Okay.
So we're still talking like a 40, 50 degree swing, but nothing like yours.
It's not good for, in all seriousness, it's not good for animal health. It's not good for human health. That type of weather is just not good. Putting a little bid on the wheat market here, and I think led to a lot of the support we saw on Friday was those talk of temps and winter kill. I don't know. You got to kill a wheat crop a number of times, and there's always a threat of winter kill every year. Just one of those headlines. So I'm not buying it quite yet. We'll see when that comes to fruition. But got to show a live shot of Connor and I coming to work this morning here. Just bundle up here this morning live. There's Connor and Brady taking the trip into ATI Pro Media headquarters here.
Oh, I kind of felt that. Oh man, that's hilarious. All right. Well, okay. What headline you want to start with? You want to talk COT report?
Let's break that down.
Kind of it feels like Monday, Tuesdays. Usually on Mondays when we talk about the COT report. and it's been, kind of the same trend, right? Funds are bullish. We started in middle July. We started buying, we kind of bottomed out. We started buying. The funds got long. This fall, continued to see it a little bit different change, where we see that fund, we kind of see that reduction uh, in gross longs. Looking at that black line, but yeah, it was basically starting middle of July. We saw the buying. We've seen kind of not our first dip, but dropping ever so slightly. So that's the question: is that the funds, are they ready to get out? And so I'll go ahead and say it was a leading question, because we didn't see a whole lot of gross shorts being added, right? Most of it was just longs kind of reducing their position. But, I think it's still safe to say the funds are still bullish corn and soybeans. But interesting. It'd be interesting to see where we go from here, don't you think?
I do, yeah. I mean, the funds have been right. They've been buying that market. We talk about that big short they had last July, and they covered that short and got long while the farmer was selling their grain. And this is looking at corn specifically, but up there testing those 21, 22 length levels there. Not a record long by any means. Still room to go higher if they want to, but you got to wonder when they're going to roll over, when they're going to run for the exits. Yeah, they don't stay long forever. We'll see what happens here. But South America weather got to be on what their minds a little bit here, looking at that.
Definitely. Yep. I didn't have a soybean chart, but we did see, kind of similar that in the same week they reduced their net long in soybean futures and options to 28,400 contracts from 57,000 a week earlier, which had been our biggest net long since Nov 23. So a little bit more dramatic in the soybean market of reducing that long position. But we're still long soybeans. We're still very long corn. And so, it's going to be interesting to see, right? Can we see a bounce back, right? Funds, we can look at the seasonality of fund buying, fund selling, right? It can tell a story, but they don't have to get long or short at any point in time, right? July 15th, they decided to get very long, or decided to start building their long. So time will tell. But yeah, kind of, a different story. We're reducing our long position in corn, soybeans.
Yeah, you got to look at the macro market factors as well. Where do fund manage money? They're parking their money in commodities for a reason. Why are they parking it there? Is it because it has a fundamental story? Corn, you can argue corn has a fundamental story to be in that market. We see that with that big long position. But across, as a whole, looking at macro market, what is happening with inflation? What's happening with the US dollar? What do they foresee with the stock market? Where do they want their money to be parked to, one, preserve the equity in the money, or two, generate a positive return on their capital where they're putting it? So at this point, with that elevated position on corn market, a guy's got to wonder, are we closer to the elevator down, or another rip higher? Where's your risk at if you're managed money? And as a farmer, where is your risk?
Yep. And that's our fear. When I look at that big long position, right? That's what makes a guy nervous, is what's going to put an end to this rally. If the funds, decide to get out and start exiting, right? It just kind of exacerbates any type of bearish market. But we haven't seen it yet, right? We saw March corn cross above $5. We're at $4.98, right? We did. I don't know how long were we above $5? Was it 10 minutes, 15 minutes?
It has been short-lived thus far. We'll see what the rest of the day holds, though, Connor. We got a long. It's not as long a week as normal. It's only a 4-day week here, but we got a long week ahead of us, even though it's only 4 days. But this is the first time we've seen a 5 on front month futures. So the front month corn contract, it's the first time we've seen a 5 on that contract since the fall of 23, Connor, since October of 2023, a long time ago.
I wish you would have made me guess. I would have guessed it was longer than that, but yeah.
You can guess now if you want.
It's too late. I would have said sometime in the summer of 23. But
Connor, the $1 million question here. When was the last time funds were? When was the last time March corn or front month corn had a 5 in front of it? Connor B, $1 million question.
Oh, I'm gonna phone a friend. Joe, get in here.
Joe.
He's shaking his head. He doesn't know. He wasn't paying attention. All right. Anyway, let's keep going. Other headline I saw is that Russia and U.S. met, I believe, this morning to discuss an end to the war in Ukraine. And so, it's very much been Russia and U.S. Having discussions, right? Some things on the table is, no chance. I don't think Russia has any interest in Ukraine joining NATO, right? It feels like a lot of concessions. And number one, I haven't heard. I think someone needs to let Ukraine know that they're talking because they haven't necessarily been involved. And so I guess my opinion, Brady, it's good to see talks, right? I like everyone come to the table, but why it still feels like we've got a long way to go, right? It feels like both. I just don't see either side bending yet, right? That could change, but they are, U.S. and Russia. We are having talks to how we can see the war end.
It's good to see the talks happening. Good to see, optimism of tensions easing there, but the headlines will continue to come. And I like what you said there. Is Ukraine even invited to that meeting? Where are they at with, it takes two parties and U.S. is involved in it, in the negotiations and, making a deal happen there. But you got to have those two sides come to the table to generate some, peace and stability in that region. Been dynamic for the last few years. And I don't know if it's over yet though, Connor, like you said.
Yeah. Because Russia has no interest in Ukraine joining NATO. Ukrainian President Zelensky has, he's been pretty clear he's demanding NATO membership. So, it's one of those who's going to budge first, right? What type of concessions are we going to see in terms of land, anything like that? Because when Russia annexed Crimea, was that almost 10 years ago? I think it was like 2014, 2015. So it's time flies, I guess. But
yeah, it very much can. Yeah. Nobody has talked about Ukraine becoming a 52nd state, though. Have we thrown that on the table, Connor Bean?
Not yet, but it's still early, right? It's only Tuesday.
Early in the game.
It's 9/11. Yeah, 9/10. So
okay. Just throwing that out there. Just throwing it out there.
Okay,
so,
that's
where do we go from there on that? So I can talk a little cattle if you'd like, Connor Bean.
We got cattle. I think we need to look at Brazil, but yeah, give us a quick cattle update.
Okay. It's kind of following the similar lines with COT stuff. Funds rolling over a little bit on the live cattle, lean and feeder cattle managed money position, that red line, selling off some of their length there. Watch out for the elevator ride down if you're in the cattle world. But definitely, yeah, cash cattle disappointed last week. Trade was 3 to 4 lower. Guys maybe held out, and it'd be interesting to see how it plays out this week. When you got cold weather and temperatures like this, you are not gaining a whole lot of ground on weights. You're just kind of feeding them, and it's going to keep them alive and try not to lose any. So be interesting to see how cash trade pans out this week. Live cattle kills are down, I think 7 to 8% last week. It was the lightest kill week we've had. Box beef is breaking lower. It's nearly $8 lower versus a week ago on Friday. Packer margins are in the red. So there's a lot of dynamics in the cattle market that are leading to some pressure there. But we'll see how the winter storm. On a livestock note, there was a headline late Friday, Connor, and over the weekend about an approved vaccine, a conditional approval vaccine on bird flu. Zoetis got approved by the Trump administration to one of their bird flu vaccines to be released. A conditional license, though, so it's not permanent. It's out for a series of timeframes. It's kind of a game-changing type of deal because the U.S. has been on eradication. That's been their policy with managing the bird flu, is let's eradicate it. Let's stop. Let's go in and we'll cull all the birds. One bird in a poultry house gets sick, and we're going to go in and kill them all. And that has very much led to the inflation we've seen in egg prices. So it kind of a game-changing deal. I don't know if it's in effect yet with the vaccine. I think there's probably some federal and state type of poultry industry that they got to make a decision on if they want to actually use it or not. But it's at least been approved conditionally out there to hopefully put the brakes on the bird flu deal.
Gotcha. Well, that's going to be a developing story for sure.
Definitely, yeah. All over the place. I started with cattle, ended with birds. Where's he going to go next?
Great stuff. Well, I think we should go. We had Conab planting progress, harvest progress, and they made some good traction here. I just popped up the second corn planting progress. So Last week they're at 30, or I'm sorry, 18%. Made almost double. We're at 35% planted. Last year we were at 45%, and so we are catching up to that. Last year pace. They had their window of opportunity, and they're making good use of it. Mato Grosso was a big one. We can see they're 43%. They were 67%, 67% planted last year, but they still made a sizable jump compared to last week. So we're seeing
that's a huge deal. Mato Grosso is a huge piece of the safrina production down there. I think almost half of the safrina corn comes out of Mato Grosso. So that's a big state to catch up.
Yep. So making good progress on the soybean harvest side. Right, this week they were 25% harvested. Last year they were 29%. The week before we were at 14. So made good progress on the soybean harvest, good progress on the corn planting, and we're getting it feels like we're getting a little bit caught up. I feel like if we're going to be bullish, the story very much is going to shift to Argentina, right? That feels like that's the headline, and the trade's really going to be watching weather down there. But good progress soybean planting, good progress on that second corn crop. And it looks like they're catching up to kind of that 5-year average and getting closer to last year, right? Which 2 weeks ago felt, that gap was pretty wide. But my gosh, we know this very well, don't we, Brady, that we can see progress made very quickly if we get that window of opportunity. It doesn't matter if it's South America or the United States.
Yeah, well, we promised ourselves, I think, a month or two ago that we weren't going to get too excited about a planting delay in South America. But here we are catching up, making up for some ground. We'll see how it all plays out with that safrina crop. It doesn't get harvested until July timeframe. So a lot of growing ahead of that crop. Big piece of the global corn picture. Brian Basting made a note in one of our corn videos that we did about Argentina. He hinted on Argentina and the impact of their corn crop. He said something about they account for 25% of global corn exports over the March through June timeframe. So a big piece of the puzzle is they get their crop out and impact the global market for the supply of world corn availability out there. But yeah, a lot of pieces of the puzzle, a lot of things happening there in the global front.
Yeah, well, I got one more chart for you. This is from Reuters, and so it just is looking at Brazil and USA soybean exports. And you think China matters, Brady, when you look at this, right? What is that? Do that quick math. 65%, 66% goes to China between the U.S. and Brazil, right? And so, I thought this was a great graphic, just looking where Brazil and USA, right, lump them together. Where do their destinations go? And, we can talk about the EU and all any other country. But guess what? China matters.
They move the peg. They have the ability to change a balance sheet. That is an export picture and export program that can come in and change a balance sheet. Connor B.
Yep.
So, good graphic.
Okay. Well, I wasn't ready to have a long show, but
we are 20 minutes.
When you go live sometimes, and a lot of good topics. I was hoping the longer we go, we could see March corn break above the $5 again. $4.98, right? We haven't done it yet, but it's still early in the day. We'll see where we go. Any other thoughts? Anything I missed?
No, stay on top of these markets and don't fall asleep at the wheel, whether it's old crop or new crop. Definitely progress in our marketing plans. You did a premium video last week. Let's talk about that real quick.
I talked about here, and feel free to disagree with me, right? But I wanted to walk through 3-way option strategies and why I don't do them. And I think why, even we as a company, I'm only speaking for myself. I don't want to speak for anyone else, but just why we avoid 3-way option strategies. Number one, I wanted to talk about what are they, right? Because sometimes it's like, my gosh, we're buying this one, selling this one, selling this one. What is all the topics? But, I just don't feel like they have a good place in my marketing plan, right? It's a good way, I think, to present things as free. And as we know, right, in farming, in life, in any type of business, there's no such thing as free. There's no free lunches out there. And I think we need to keep that in mind when we're looking at these different strategies. So that's what I tried to walk through.
I like it. It's timely. This is a time of year where you get hit with different silver bullet type marketing strategies or tools. And it's important to break those down, understand what the risk reward of it all is. What are you actually getting yourself into, and what does it do for you at the end of the day? So you did a good job breaking some of that down of one of those that gets pumped out this time of year, especially when you get a market that feels range bound, or you just want to go out there and do something and hit the easy button. Sometimes that easy button can turn into trouble down the road, Connor.
Yep, I agree. Yep. I agree. So,
hey, I'm going to do self promo here real quick if you got a minute.
No, let's do it.
We got our bull sale catalog out. So March 14th, 2025, Friday, we're going to have the Huck Stegman Angus bull sale. Got the catalog out, got videos up there on dvauction.com. You can go check those out. If you want a catalog, if you're in the cattle business, hit me up, holler at us. We'll get you a catalog in the mail and you can take a look at our bulls. So appreciate your interest. I got a video of one of my favorite bulls. We call him DVAR Gunsmoke, and he's a really cool bred bull. I like his pedigree. I think he does a lot of things neat for the industry. So if you have any questions about bulls or cattle, feel free to give me hit me up.
Awesome. All right. March 16th. Add it to your calendar. It's about a 14th. Little under a month away. March 14th. March 14th. Sorry.
Yeah. All good. Thanks for letting me talk personal stuff here. So appreciate it. We got any comments or questions out there? I got one there. Cody Williams here. What does the cattle market look like going into the spring? Definitely softening up here, Cody. Good question, though. Has definitely had a softer tone, but long-term fundamentals, we know the story there. That ain't going to change too much overnight with the supply of available cattle and available calves. It's more macro market one the consumer can gut out. So good opportunities out there. Don't drag your feet. And if you haven't heard it before, manage from the bottom up. I can't rewind the clock and get you a better price after the market falls apart. But we can protect more dollars as it continues to ratchet up. So good stuff, Cody.
Yep. All right. Good
That's
comment.
all I got, Connor.
Okay. Well, hey, good stuff. Let's go ahead and get out of here. I think we'll see everyone tomorrow, and hope everyone has a good day.
We'll see y'all.